Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
You know, this is Perry Ann Boring, the founder of the Digital Chamber of Commerce. We represent the industry as a whole and not just one specific business interest, she says. Why have you done nothing to support Ripple in the SEC suit or John Deaton representing 65,000 XRP holders? Great question. One that we've been asking here on this channel. Shout out to DAI. You know, let's hear this clip really quickly here.
Career, I was able to very quickly pick up on the need for a trade association for the digital currency industry without having an authoritative representative industry body. Really, our voices are not heard. Trade associations' voices are heard much louder than any individual company or any lobbyist, and the reason why is because we represent the industry as a whole and not just one specific business interest.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting that Perry Ann would say that she represents the industry as a whole and not one specific business interest, because we have asked the question multiple times, well, why haven't you come to the aid, even just vocally from the position of Digital Chamber of Commerce to represent what's going on with Ripple and the SEC lawsuit, or John Deaton and his class action representing 65,000 plus XRP holders. And then I shared this back on February 12th, just about, 11, 12 days ago. And listen to this. Congressional hearing, same lady, Perry Ann Boring, the founder of Digital Chamber of Commerce, appear to be in alignment from her statements here, that she agrees with the approach of Gary Gensler that the rest of crypto are digital asset securities. You hear it right, and ask yourself what we've been asking. How in the world does that represent the entire digital asset space and not just some specific special interest? Take a listen.
Mr. Bankman-Fried, if you go by market cap, the vast majority are commodities. Bitcoin and Ether today compose over 60% of the market capitalization of the entire digital asset ecosystem, and they've been defined as a commodity by the CFTC today. There's other categories. We kind of talked about categories of digital assets. Another one is intentional digital asset securities. One is intentional digital asset securities. Bankman-Fried, if you go by market cap, the vast majority are commodities. Bitcoin and Ether today compose over 60% of the market capitalization of the entire digital asset ecosystem, and they've been defined as a commodity by the CFTC today. There's other categories. We kind of talked about categories of digital assets. Another one is intentional digital asset securities. Another one is intentional digital asset securities. That's another area that's a nascent and emerging piece of the ecosystem, but has yet to really fully be realized because of the lack of regulatory clarity by the policy.
Yeah, and the lack of representation from her actual founded organization, the Digital Chamber of Commerce, because it sounds like she's representing the interest of Gary Gensler and anybody who's into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Does it not? It doesn't sound like someone who's representing the interest of the entire digital asset space. Certainly would love to have an open invitation for Perry Ann to come on to show and clear it up for all of us. A bill to regulate crypto in Brazil for the first time heads to the Senate for a vote. Brazil is looking to get crypto regs there, and we know we need them here, but look here. If we wanted to find out why the banking system, the central banks are developing central bank digital currencies, sure, it's to remain in control, relevant and powerful. Yes, that is the core of it all. But here is the financial implication. The global debt levels rise to more than $303 trillion in 2021 and up $10 trillion year on year. How about that one? Is that number happening at your house? Because it's not happening at mine. I tell you, this is a real problem. And if we believe that we are just going to avoid this problem, I think we are kidding ourselves, to be honest with you. At some point, this is going to come home to roost. And I think a part of the whole climate change, going green for the banking system, changing over from the paper friction world, going to blockchain distributed ledger technology, really aids to the velocity of money to jumpstart this deliberately shut down economy globally that we witnessed happen because of the pandemic. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this, because Thailand announces crypto trading CBDC plans are breaking. We know everybody's doing it, and you're about to see massive evidence of the Arab central banks doing it, and they're going to reference Ripple and XRP in it. CBDC's international position of the euro, we know they are really accelerating the launch of the euro, digital euro. That is exciting. Ripple recently joined the Digital Euro Association, as well as they've been on the Digital Pound Foundation. You're also going to see evidence as we move forward too that the United States may not be as far behind as many think, as we've said. This is from OK_cool here, who says, take a look at this, acknowledging XRP was one of the first to use crypto for payments here. Check this out. This is straight fire. This is a Council of Arab Central Banks and Monetary Authorities governors. And ladies and gentlemen, this is from this month, right here, fresh off the press. This is big. And I remind you that in Q4 of 2021 report from Ripple, before we start, what did they say? With over 20 payout markets for on-demand liquidity, ODL, most recently adding the Middle East, RippleNet continues to see more global demand for the product. Here's on the first page that I want to talk about, which is page 24 here. They talk about this. There have been a number of efforts aiming at payment modernization without reliance on CBDC. Many of these are incremental advances suggested by incumbent players such as SWIFT. Table number 1 describes some of the attempts here. And if you look at this and you go down through here, they show obviously SWIFT, TransferWise, Remitly, Revolt, RippleNet. Right there. RippleNet. Improvements to messages protocols, but continue reliance on correspondent banking for settlement. It goes on here to talk about real-time payments. Right here it talks about SWIFT, EBA clearing, the clearinghouse, RTP, US, Europe, ISO 20022, which we're well aware of. Cryptocurrencies on public DLT, right? You look right here, and it says right here what? One of the first cryptocurrencies designed primarily for payments was Ripple's XRP. And then it goes on to talk about El Salvador and that decision with Bitcoin and legal tender there. Now, let's move to the next page, and this entire document is straight fire. So you should read it. It is on my Twitter. And look here. If you thought that the United States was lagging behind, I think it's just that the press of what they're doing is lagging behind. Central Bank Digital Currencies, a practical guide for Arab central banks, where central banks are in advanced stages of research and development, ladies and gentlemen. And look who we have in the top of that list to go along with Canada, Euro, Norway, Mauritius, and United Kingdom. United States, again, a lot further along, because I think all of us that have been here for some time understand how far back Ripple goes with the Federal Reserve and the Faster Payments Task Force. They're not revealing information to us. Doesn't mean that they're actually behind. Here I wanted to point out here on this page, the Central Bank Digital Currencies, the practical guide for Arab central banks. The majority of respondent central banks, 58%, are considering the permission blockchain DLT as a technology for applying CBDCs. It goes on to say, while 31% are considering modernizing their payment systems using traditional database, and the least percentage, 11%, goes for employing the public blockchain. It goes on to give some other figures here, but the point here is that the majority of central banks, 58%, are considering the permission use of blockchain DLT. Now, we know this is what the role of Ripple and XRP was designed for. It even said it on the document that I showed you on page, 24. So take a look here. Looking at this, where it goes over to different categories: programmable money, performance, resilience, and security. Now, why have I highlighted security? Because it talks about the prevention of double spending and the Byzantine consensus. Well, that made me think, and I'm not a developer, but that made me think of the Byzantine Agreement, or the Federated Byzantine Tolerance, or whatever they call it there, for the use behind the XRP ledger and how it settles. That looks a lot to me like it is at the top of the list when it comes to security on the double spend and getting things done with the ledger. It goes on to talk about RLNs, which here are regulated liability network, is what we're talking about, right? That's what they talk about here. A commercial RLN can be implemented without the need for legal changes. I am reminded when Brad Garlinghouse told us we are already behind the firewall of the banks. And because we're dealing with banks and compliant institutions, we therefore are compliant. Everybody on each end of the transaction is AML and KYC. We all have heard him say it 100 times. And here it looks like we're getting some alignment in that understanding. And we have to wonder if these regulated liability networks or network could in fact be a reference to a distributed ledger technology private private network for private ledger for the central banks, referred to as an RLN here. If a CBDC is later desired, the infrastructure is in place, M0 and M1, and the central bank can request legal changes necessary to enable it to issue central bank digital money on M0. This entire document is fire, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I can tell you. Then it comes here. And actually, in the reference of documents that are used to put this report together, that's right, Ripple 2020, the future of central bank digital currencies, why all central banks must take action. And this was the actual document that was referenced here, and or the link to it. So that's the site, it's the website itself. And I find that incredible that we're not seeing in this where it is the exclusion of saying Ripple and XRP or RippleNet. They're saying it. They're showing it as a reference for their material. Let me tell you what else we should leave a note on here. Remember this? This was back in October, late of last year, not that long ago, when we heard Brad Garlinghouse in Saudi Arabia say these things.
In its attempt to streamline cross-border payments, Ripple is using crypto to cut down on costs through a new product called on-demand liquidity. Our Yusuf Gamaluddin joins us now from Riyadh with the company's CEO. Yusuf.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, we are cutting through a very busy schedule here in downtown Riyadh, but it is all about some of these new innovations, and the peer-to-peer powered cryptocurrency Ripple is part of that bigger conversation that we're about to have with the CEO who joins us here. Of course, that is Brad Garlinghouse. Thanks for coming on the show, Brad.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
The turnout here is just nothing short of astounding. What kind of conversations have you had? What kind of deals have you been able to sign?
Well, I totally agree. The energy here, the entrepreneurial energy, particularly in maybe almost a post-COVID world. So we've had amazing engagement here at FII with existing customers, with potential customers. It's really just been a profound experience for me so far.
So what additional momentum have you been able to build into the Ripple growth story? Have you been able to come to any new agreements? Because a lot of the cross-border payments, the big channels come through this part of the world.
It's really true. I mean, this is a major centerpiece of remittance networks, and certainly the immigrant populations here in the Middle East, and certainly here in the Kingdom, between India, Pakistan, the Philippines. And so these have always been populations which pay very high fees for their remittance traffic, and what we're focused on is bringing those down. The Middle East has been one of our fastest growing regions. We've grown network activity for Ripple-enabled payments 5x year on year here in the Middle East. It's our fastest growing region. And I think it really is only just getting started because it is such a center point, as you described.
Well, there you have it. I don't think you could have it told to you any better than that. The Arab central banks are citing Ripple and XRP in their research and report right here and right here, right? We're seeing it. It's being shown directly to us. Directly to us. It's in our face, literally. And a reminder that just back in October, we were told by Brad Garlinghouse that it is the fastest growing region, 5x.
Middle East has been one of our fastest growing regions. We've grown network activity for Ripple enabled payments 5x year on year here in the Middle East. It's our fastest growing region.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.